Okay, it's 5 minutes after 5 on Monday, December 4th, 2023, and we'll call this city council meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting today, and if everyone would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Deb.
Harley.
Here.
Brad.
Here.
Rodney.
Here.
Tyler.
Here.
Don.
Here. We do have a quorum today. Entertain a motion then to approve today's agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion from Harley, second from Brad. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Across the mayor's desk, I'd like to thank Jacob Shutter, our videographer today. And just a couple notes, the Nutcracker presented by Ballet Des Moines and the Haggard Too Good Charitable Trust is going to return this year, again for 2 performances on Wednesday, December 20th and Thursday, December 21st. Both will be at the Wilcox Performing Arts Center. They'll be at 6:30 in the evening, and tickets are general admission $25. So it's an amazing performance. We did attend it last year, and it's definitely a must-see. So, and I understand that there are the young people are coming from a wider area around Algona to participate. So the word has gotten out for that participation. So that's pretty cool. So, and sponsorships are available for between $250 and $5,000 if someone would like to help sponsor that. And then also the movie The Silent Night in Algona that previewed last year is now on DVD. So this just all kind of came together last Friday, a few days ago, but the DVDs will be available at various retail outlets soon here in Algona. So, council have anything they would like to share? Okay, we'll move into update from the city administrator.
Only item I have, I'd like to invite Chief Bo Miller up to share an announcement.
Hello, City Council, Mayor, thank you guys. I'd just like to stop in and introduce our newest officer, Jason Broad. I'm going to let him talk about himself, but we're excited. Today is day 1 for him.
Okay.
And tomorrow he'll be in uniform. He is fully certified this year.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jason Broad. Originally from New Hampshire, grew up in New Hampshire, joined the Marine Corps, met my wife, whose family grew up in Iowa. So after that, we moved back to Iowa. I just recently spent a year and a half being a police officer in Humboldt, and really looking forward to joining Algona's team and kind of getting to know the area and learn everyone's name and faces and making a difference in the community. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
It'll be a nice transition. He's already been living in our community. Kids they're already in the community, so it's a nice transition for us.
Great.
Thanks,
Great.
guys.
Great.
Welcome. Good. Nothing else, okay. I'll move to agenda item number 7. This is the citizens' opportunity to address the council with any item that's not on the agenda. Anyone here that would like to speak?
Janice Laurie, and just still have not gotten a result on the property that was transferred to the city. I did speak to a council member several months ago, was hoping to get a response or results. They saw my concerns, addressed my concerns, but I have not received a response yet. So I'm willing to visit with someone else if there's somebody else that would care to hear my concerns.
Thank you. We'll move to the consent agenda, and that includes approving the minutes from our November 20th work session and the regular city council meeting, approve the bills to be paid this cycle, and approve a Class C retail alcohol license for the Chrome Country Inn.
Move to approve.
Sorry.
We have a motion from Harley, second from Don. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carries. Move to agenda item number 9, which is new business, and this is an ordinance pertaining to the city's official zoning map, and this will be the first reading.
Second.
Oh, the second reading, sorry.
This is the proposed rezoning of 109 South Blanchard Street, North Blanchard Street, from its current zoning classification of heavy manufacturing to neighborhood business district.
No comments from the first reading or anything yet?
We haven't received any comments. Barbara,
I did talk to the Lannises last week. They are asking for you to approve the second and third reading so they can get started on constructing the apartment. I suggested that they reach out to the council because that's a council decision. I don't know if any of you heard from them or not.
I make a motion to waive the second reading.
Second that.
We have a motion from Rodney, second from Brad to waive the second reading. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Motion to approve the second reading.
A motion and a second then to approve the second reading. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
The second reading is approved.
I don't have a problem moving forward. If we haven't heard anything else from anybody, I know Lance didn't reach out to me, but doesn't mean I have any, and it's approved by our planning and zoning, which we've already.
Right, we have had no one showed up at the planning and zoning meeting, nobody came to the public hearing. I've heard no comments from anybody at all on the rezoning.
Then a motion to waive the third reading.
Second.
We have a motion from Rodney, second from Brad to waive the third reading. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And a motion to approve the third reading.
Second.
We have a motion from Rodney, second from Brad to approve the third reading. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried.
I know a lot of yeses, but I guess at this point, motion for adoption? To approve.
That's correct.
To adopt the
The ordinance.
reading.
The ordinance.
The ordinance, thank you. Word I'm looking for.
We have a motion again from Rodney and a second again from Brad to adopt this ordinance. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you.
You getting a rhythm there.
Agenda item number 10, this is a resolution accepting the Algonah Municipal Utilities calendar year 2024 budget.
Yes, even with an AMU being an entity of the city, since they follow a calendar year budget, and we follow a July, June fiscal year, our finances always line up a little bit differently, so it's been our practice to comply with the regulations that every year the city council accepts the budget adopted by the AMU Board of Trustees, and we have Robert Harrington here with us this evening to provide the highlights.
Okay, so John would be here normally, but he had some surgery, so he's indisposed right now. So. Our budget for '24 is pretty much a continuation of '23. So in the electric utility, the main project is going to be continuing moving from overhead and converting to underground on the electrical, increased reliability. For the water, it's really following the city as we do street projects and things, because it makes sense for both of us to work together on that. It's the best thing for our community owners and citizens, obviously. And then with communications, we'll continue building out the fiber network within the city. We did a bunch this year, and that's going to be a multi-year project. Those are kind of the big things. Other than that, keep providing the services we provide, keep the utility healthy, and provide great service. Any questions?
Quite a lengthy budget there, like 23 pages or so.
Well, the Board of Trustees got a much longer presentation. If you have 40 minutes, I can.
I'll ask Julie.
Well, I take it that AMU is largely responsible for the Christmas decorations we have out there and putting them up and stuff, and we received a lot of compliments. They're pretty awesome, so.
Pass that along.
Good, yeah, I'll pass them on to the line department, those guys are out there doing that. You know, we all share, but they get to work in bad weather doing it, so I won't pass that on.
Any other questions for Bob or anything?
All right.
Thank you.
Motion to approve resolution accepting the EMU's 24 budget.
Second.
Motion from Rodney, second from Don. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried. Agenda item number 11 concerns resolution concerning the airport.
So this is an item we adopt every November or December, and it's basically a update to our 5-year plan for potential FAA funding and as well as state DOT funding for at the airport. So in the, the 5-year capital improvement program plan, you'll note it doesn't have the improvements slated for the upcoming fiscal year in FY25, because those were approved in the last version, and we've been given the go-ahead by the FAA to pursue those to sort of finish out the runway expansion or displacement and extension. But this identifies and working with staff, the airport commission, and the airport engineer of kind of what are big projects coming up that we would want in the identified, so if when funding is available from the FAA, we can apply for those grants. Typically, the federal grants are 90% federal, 10% local, and the states are 80% state and 20% local. Some of these things that we'll kind of have to see where our final costs come out with the runway extension with, prices gone up as much as they have last couple of years, but really kind of identifying what the long-term projects are, and then so they're potentially in that federal funding queue. So they include doing some pavement rehab out at the airport. Every 10 years, we do need to update the airport layout plan. It's basically a 10-year comprehensive plan for the airport. And then looking at some fuel system upgrades identified kind of in the nearer term, and then kind of on the someday maybe list, we have the extending the airport to 5,000 linear feet. We're going to displace it and get it back to 4,200 taxiway improvements, another hangar replacement. So if there's any questions on that, Barb and I are happy to answer them.
Is there something in there about actual fuel purchases that some funding is available for, or is that just equipment?
It's for the storage tanks and the system itself. And
Jim purchases fuel out there 2 to 3 times a year or more, and then we more than make up for our fuel costs with the sale of it.
on the current project going on out there, pretty much I think work is wrapped up.
The fence pretty much is all that's left there along the Lesher property. Everything else, the trees are removed, the final grading's done. They might need some seeding work to be done yet, but yeah, phase 1 is almost complete.
So the engineers are already working on phase 2, and we anticipate that coming up to go to bid here this spring, and then do the pavement and finish out that project in calendar year 2024. So.
Motion then to approve resolution of the airport improvement and capital improvement program.
Second that.
We have a motion from Rodney, second from Brad. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried. Agenda item number 12 approves the pay application number 5 for the 2023 mill and overlay street improvements.
This is pay application 5 from Heartland Asphalt. Payment due this amount is $74,081.80. This will be our last pay application we approve until we formally accept the project and approve final payment, which expect to be probably sometime next spring or summer, once we get through the cold season and see how grass is established and everything needs to be touched up. But all the major work on that is wrapped up, and it went well this year.
Move to approve payout. Motion from Tyler, second from Don. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried. Agenda item number 13 approves a pay application. This is number 6 for the Finn Drive and Worcester Street reconstruction project.
Same thing, this is for work completed here in October and November on street projects. All that major work is done. Again, this will be our final pay application until we go to formally accept the project, and for work completed, and then releases 4.5% retainage. Again, anticipate sometime next spring or summer is when we'll make that final payment.
Move to approve payout.
Second.
Motion from Brad, second from Tyler. Any discussion? I've got one question. The retainage on this one is less than the 1%. Why?
That's just kind of looking at, you know,
Just kind of what
it's
needs to be
mainly
done.
on the, what could we need to use that for with some of the touch-up or, you know,
Okay.
with seeding
Just kind of what
or
needs to be
minor
done,
site
yeah.
work, yeah.
Any other questions? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried. Agenda item number 14 is a tax abatement application.
Commercial abatement application for improvements to the existing commercial property that was on 1008 East Nebraska Street. You probably noticed in the last year it's gone under quite a transformation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion from Harley, second from Don. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried, and thank you for your investment in Algona. Agenda item number 15 is to set a date and time for the first council meeting in January of the new year, as the first Monday falls on January 1st.
So we propose that we schedule it for January 2nd unless there's another day, like.
Move to approve January 2nd.
Second.
Motion from Harley, second from Rodney. Any discussion? January the 2nd it is. Vote please, Deb.
Harley.
Yes.
Brad.
Yes.
Rodney.
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried. Move to old business. Agenda item number 16 this is the first reading concerning the zoning regulations.
Yeah, the last meeting, we had just kind of a overview of the proposed changes, but wanted enough time for people to be able to look at what is being proposed, if you have any questions or tweaks that we may want to look at making. So just kind of highlight the proposed changes, and the theory behind recommending these changes is looking at you know, our housing stock and knowing we need to encourage more housing. So what can we do from a regulatory standpoint to make it more conducive for housing development? So some of the changes that would be made to the residential zoning code would be allowing for triplexes in RS60. That's our highest density single-family zoning district. Currently, duplexes are allowed there. And they would also add permitting the development of accessory dwelling units, or ADUs. Those typically, or you'll often hear them referred to as like granny flats, things like that. But essentially a secondary subordinate structure on the property that would have to meet the requirements of placement in terms of a typical accessory use building, but instead of a 1,000-foot garage in your backyard, you could actually have that be a residence, but there's requirements in terms of access, setbacks, how they use the property, and that it is subordinate to the primary use. Setback changes to non-conforming lots. So kind of two aspects there. The one being on lots that the front yard only, if they are conforming lot, that if the existing neighborhood, all the houses were built, in a line, and the current setback would require that to be that much further. It allows for administrative flexibility to approve lining up with that, existing structures to kind of fit the character of the neighborhood on just that front yard. So that'd be for conforming lots of just adjusting that front yard setback. And then on the non-conforming lots, those would be lots that don't meet the minimum square footage or width. And those are mainly over in kind of the west part of town, where we have, land lots that were platted well before zoning was ever thought of. But basically, we have some of those lots that, because of their size, to develop them, you have a very tight area that you could build. And if you look at the houses around it, in terms of what their setbacks are and kind of the character of the neighborhood, it would look odd to have those type of restrictions. So it again gives administrative discretion in terms of looking at existing, the nature of the existing surrounding structures, and then doing an average to allow either, that front or backyard to slide to fit with the character of the neighborhood. We've just, last couple of years with various developers around town, or people looking at lots, when you go into like, well, by the time you get this setback, this setback, this setback, it makes some of those vacant lots challenging to develop. So we think it would make it more inviting to see the redevelopment of some of those older vacant lots. And then there's a series of definitions which were added. So one, accessory dwelling unit, that's currently something that we don't have in our zoning code as an item. Referencing to infill development and infill sites in relation to those conforming, non-conforming lot adjustments. And then providing for a new authority of the Board of Adjustment. Of right now, they can approve administrative appeals, special exceptions, and variances. This would add a conditional use permit, and whereas a special exception is tied to the property owner, a conditional use permit is tied to the property itself. So when they approve that, it goes with the succeeding landowner. So what planning and zoning had recommended was allowing ADUs in all three resident or single-family residential zoning districts, but that they receive a conditional use permit from the Board of Adjustment. If we just did the special exception, what we currently have on the books, well, when that goes to sell, that technically would be a non-conforming lot, and they'd have to, get permission to put it back in. So this would allow that ADU to continue for the successive owners. And that part of that ADU requirement would be that one of them has to be owner occupied. So it could either be the accessory or the primary structure. That was something that we kind of debated quite a bit in terms of the process on that. There's some communities that go the route that we currently have proposed, where you need to go through Board of Adjustment for approval. There's others that look at ADUs by right, that if you meet these standards, you can develop. So I did provide a handout of just some of, yes, that's your copy, sorry. I passed it out earlier. Just examples of other communities, how they go about their ADU process, because we want to make sure there's a, we're increasing housing density, and we, and with changes going on and, neighbors having concerns, we want to make sure there's a process for that, but we also don't, want to balance kind of our regulations and not make it too cumbersome. Like I said, on kind of especially smaller communities, there's a mix of the way they do it, but ours is currently written by you need to meet these standards, go get permission from the Board of Adjustment. The alternative would be that you just set those standards, or if you want to make those standards a little more restrictive, if there are concerns. And then if you meet those standards, you have the right to build an ADU there. The same way, if you meet the standards, to build a primary structure, as long as you're hitting all the requirements, you have the right to build it. So just because there were so many different kind of various changes and a few new terms and processes involved, just kind of out of the sake of diligence, want to at least give you a couple weeks to mull this over. You know, and if there's any changes or you'd like us to look at or make or proceed as proposed.
Seemed to me you've looked at it pretty well overall. I didn't see anything that I was questioning, but I don't know if anybody else did.
I think if we use the next two meetings for the next two readings,
Yeah.
that does give us some time to make changes. I believe you can make changes up to the third reading.
I think the second you
Start
can.
over, though.
You'd have to start
Yeah,
over.
you have
Yeah,
to start
yeah,
over
start
anytime
over,
you
yeah.
change.
At the second reading, if
The second reading,
you made a change, but then if you want to make a change, I mean, you have to have one and two, you
yeah.
have to have reviews, so,
Okay.
You could make a change and do the first and second reading at
Oh.
the second reading, but
yes, thank you. Jacob worded it better.
Yeah. Okay.
If there are still questions, is it easier just to table it now until we've got questions answered and then do the first, second, third reading like we normally do?
I guess there's no hurry on this, is there?
No.
Okay. Yeah, then I'd move to table it for now.
Second.
We have a motion from Harley, second from Don to table this for further discussion. Any other discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Tyler.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. That brings us to agenda item number 17, our final agenda item. And this is a closed session, and this is to discuss the purchase or sale of a particular real estate. And this closed session is in accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.5, paragraph 1, subparagraph J. So I would entertain a motion for us to enter into closed session.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Don, second from Tyler. Any discussion? Vote please, Deb.
Harley,
Yes.
Brad,
Yes.
Ronnie,
Yes.
Tyler,
Yes.
Don.
Yes.
Motion carried. It's 5:31 and we'll enter into closed session now. So thank you very much.